Our topic for discussion today is on leadership. We're looking at leadership in the home, or leadership in the household, or leadership in the family, whatever context you put it. So in every engagement, in every discipline, in every institution, in every organization, wherever you go, there is a leader. You know, religious sects, wherever, even in football teams, you know, there's a football captain. You go to school, there's a class captain. Wherever you go, there is a leader. You know, the buck has to stop somewhere. Even in the animal kingdom, there is a leader. So should the same thing applies in the house, in the household, in the family. So where we say leadership in the home, who should be the leader? Should men be the leader by default? Should it be the woman? Should leadership be shared by both adults? You know, so yes, when we say men are the head, because in most religions and most culture, we see men are perceived as leaders by default. No questions about it. Men automatically, once you're born, you become a leader by default. So if you're going to go by that context, we're just going to look at when we say men are the head, what exactly does it mean? Here on Red Chat TV, we are so lucky because we always get the right persons or the right resource person for every discussion. And today we have someone who is a husband. He's been married for a long time. He's a father. He's run a home. He's a leader in the community. He does a lot of social programs. His name is Mr. Michael Asari, aka Opening Asari. That's how he's widely known. So do join me. Let's welcome Opening Asari.
Thank you, Magna.
Welcome to Dr. TV.
Thank you. I'm so delighted.
So we're looking at leadership in the household or leadership in the family. We know that, as I said in my introduction, most religions and most cultures perceive men as leaders by default. So it is a widely accepted concept or practice. So how did it even come about? I mean, we're not even gonna argue whether men are the leaders or not, because it is a patriarchy system. It is a patriarchy culture in most engagements. So we're just looking at the concept. How did it even come about? Where did the concept come from that men should assume leadership in the household?
Okay. I'll first say welcome your audience to this platform or this talk show. And I think it's quite a delight to be part of the show. The general norm and the expectation or an acceptance of a man in a home or in a family is that he's the leader.
He's the head.
He's the head. And this may have stemmed out from different perspective. You can look at it from specifically from the religious or the cultural background. And that is how I think it is all come about, that there's the belief that God created man first, and that man is ordained. So there's a divine calling on man because a woman was taken from the man. So by de facto, man is the head become the head of
that
the family.
From the religious.
That's from the religious perspective.
Okay.
So the question then becomes that if you have a home where there is no man, who then becomes the leader? I think that's a different subject too.
But we're looking at a home where there is a man and a woman.
Yeah.
And kids. Or no kids, it doesn't matter. But I'm looking at a man and a woman, marriage, home. Household,
exactly.
Or the family.
Exactly. So that makes the conversation quite
direct,
easy too. So where we have a home of that nature, and then like I said, society across board, across cultures and worldwide, it has become a concept that has been accepted by many, that the man is the head.
Okay.
And like I said, the biblical perspective or the religious perspective is from the Quran or culturally.
Yeah.
Man has been seen as the leader.
Okay.
He's been given that role by the Creator. So we those who believe in the creation of man by God believe that God invested that in us. Okay. Now, I don't know what the atheists or those who do not believe in the creation of God and believe that this world came by itself may think. However, what we have generally come to understand is that man has become the subject of being the head of the family or the home. Yeah.
Okay, so you've made mention, or you've cited religion as one of the bases for that concept.
Yeah.
It's not even a concept; it's there. It's
Yeah,
a norm.
accepted norm,
It's
yeah.
an accepted norm.
Yeah.
So, what about culture, cultural background, and cultural aspects as well?
Yeah. So culturally, most cultures are informed by the belief system that is there. So because we come from Africa, so let me start with African traditional religion. So the belief of man being the spiritual head, the spiritual father, the spiritual leader. It goes into subjects like cleanliness. So a woman let's put it that they menstruate, and that could be seen as death, and man doesn't. So spiritually, man is whole, is complete. So that is how it's been looked at. So then the role of a woman becomes not less. However, the man then becomes superior in taking that responsibility of leading in a home. So that is the cultural and the religious perspective have almost similarities. That is the aspect. Yeah.
Okay, so what about, because I mean obviously men and women are not the same. We're not the same physically, we're not the same emotionally, we are just not the same. We are totally different.
Yeah.
So could it be that, as you've cited you've cited religion, you've cited culture, I'm also looking at the physical differences between men and women. Is it because men are stronger, physically, stronger than women? Or is it because men have been given certain role? Being a patriarchy system, being a man, as men are the head and whatever, comes with a lot of responsibilities. So is it not because like men paying the right price, or men going hunting, or men providing for the family? Is it not because, could it be because of the responsibilities that is bestowed on men? That is why they assumed leadership by default. Is it not because of the responsibilities?
So coming back to culture again, is the man who goes to marry the woman.
Yeah.
So he pays the bride, the right, he pays the cost of marrying. So then he gets a wife and he has the responsibility of looking after the wife. Hence that also goes into the, now talking about the biological differences, or the differences in terms of strength, stature. Recently they've been research on the brain, that women have different size of brain to men, it is wired differently and all that. So again, we can probably look at it from the scientific perspective, a scientific question as to why a man is a leader. Is it because we think that men, like you said, are called macho? They've got the muscles,
physical strength.
Yeah, their muscles are quite different. They emotionally, they connect differently. Women have the emotional intelligence, and that they look at close details, whilst men look afar.
Okay.
Is that why? Possibly that could also be an answer, but again, it's open a lot of debate. Because even if you go onto that scientific aspect, women do manage better than men. It's not that men cannot do, but some research see that men, it says what a man can do, a woman can do better. That is true to some degree. Men can do, and you begin to ask the question: what do you mean by what could women do that men do and the women can do better? Is it areas like gossip, or is it areas like maybe chat? Is that what we talk about? There are differences there's a difference between a man and a woman scientifically, and that could also be, I believe, to be one of the factors. We have political we can look at it from a political perspective, status, power. Now, again, we live in a man.
It's a man's world.
This is politically corrected, isn't it? Correctedness. That we live in a man society. So man society, men lead, men take decision. So then it is for the man to be the head of the home.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, there's an adage in our language that says when a woman buys a gun, it is put in a man's room. I mean, if you're a woman, your role ends somewhere, but politically power belongs to men. Men are seen in that respect.
Well, things are changing now because now we have feminism, we have women who are also, and some men actually who are also fighting for equality and equity and all that, but that is for another topic. So so far what you've said point to one, not to point to one direction, yeah, it is point to the direction that men are the head of the home by default, based on cultural, religion, whatever background, or society or political, wherever background or whatever basis that actually contributed to this stand. So what I want us to look at is when we say men are the head, what exactly does it mean? What are the roles or responsibilities? What makes him a head? What does he do at home that makes him the head? If you're the head of the home, what does it mean?
Yeah. I think one more thing I wanted to add is the socioeconomic perspective as well. So the provisions of the man. The man needs to provide, go hunting, get food, and bring home.
That is initially, I mean, the olden days, because now I don't think
we're trying to look at the origin. The origin. So it's, yes, of course, today's society is changing, but this all began where there is a cultural, there's a differences in the biological presentation or body features, and then the political aspect, and then the socioeconomic part as well. Okay. Now we are looking at what defines that role. That's quite interesting, isn't it? One may possibly think that if the man should be a leader, then he should feed the family. He should make decisions. He should be the final authority in the home. He should lord over, give direction, and be the boss. Yeah. In there.
Leadership. Yeah.
But how does this come about? Yeah, you need to look at some qualities therefore in the man. So
are those the roles or the functions of the leader? I mean, we're looking at those are the definition of leadership. Leadership is someone who can manage. I mean, who you've got subjects behind you, you've got subordinates or followers. So if that's what I want to know. So if the man is a leader at home, as you're saying, is someone who gives, I wouldn't use the word command, but who give guidance, who give directions, who is an embodiment of authority, who also provides for the family. So those are the functions or what defines the leader or the man as the leader when it comes to the family.
Yeah, so the man basically is made to protect. Okay. So as a leader within the family, the expectation would be you are the protector. Okay. You are the provider. Okay. You are the final authority. Okay. You are the authoritative figure within the home. You are the consultant. So everyone will come to consult you and bring their final decisions to you. You make the rules. You see to it that the rules are being adhered to. You correct. You lead. Okay. When you're going out. You take the lead and others follow you. You set example within the home. So that would be the expectation or the model of a leader within the home environment.
Okay, so basically two captains cannot sail a ship. But if you're looking at definition of leadership, as I outlined earlier, once we have a leader, then we should have a follower. Or once we have a leader, then we should have a subject. So once you have a leader, then someone has to be subservient. So if you're looking at it in the context of the home, if men are the leaders, so what does that make the woman? A follower, a subject, a subservient, someone who's subjugated? I mean, what does that make the woman?
Yeah.
Where is her own role? Not role, I mean, we'll come to the roles of the woman, but in terms of leadership, where does that place the woman?
Well, I mean, clearly, you can't have two leaders
Yeah.
within a sector or within an environment. But you have a leader and you have an assistant.
Okay.
You have the president and you have the vice president.
Okay.
You have the in business you have the what do you call it? The
CEO, board of directors, managing director.
and then you have the deputy.
Yeah.
So that is how it rules. So within in terms of hierarchy, if that is correct, then the man becomes the head, and some even say the woman is the neck. Now, you cannot rule alone.
Okay.
So, for you to rule, there should be subjects or subordinates in that sense. It doesn't make them lesser or less important than you. Okay? The role as defined, if we look at it from cultural or religious perspective, then it is more of an ordination. You know, God has ordained man to take that role to lead.
Okay.
But it does not.
Then you're bringing in religion.
Yeah. So that's why I said looking at it from the religious perspective.
Okay.
So from the religious perspective, God has given man that role.
Okay.
It does not mean that he is better off. It does not mean he is superior. It does not mean that he's special to the woman. But it is an ordained position that God has given him. That question from the religious perspective, the only person who can answer will probably be God. Okay. Now, in our society, politically, we see if that power is ordained onto a man or provided to a man, or say a man is the head, probably by definition of power, then the expectation is that he commands respect, he commands ideas, he leads, he's the authoritative figure. You know, you don't bypass him. He takes the decisions and make that order within the home. Okay. You know, and again, I don't think that makes the woman lesser in terms of importance to the man, because who do you
take
lead?
Decisions with?
Yeah, or who do you rule over?
Exactly.
You cannot take unilateral decision, or you may take unilateral decision because of the different types of leadership roles that the leadership styles that we have. But if you're talking about a good leader will be the one who consults.
Exactly.
And who do you consult? The people that you rule over will be the people you consult.
A good leader must even be a servant, like in religion.
Exactly.
Jesus came to serve. So if you're a leader, you must serve.
Exactly.
You don't lord over.
Exactly.
You know, because okay. So back to my next question. So we are looking at, as I said, there are shared roles and responsibilities in the home or in the household. So we all know the traditional, you've already outlined that the man, most cultures, because I know in India, some cultures in India, I think it's the woman who actually paid the bride price. So as I said, but most cultures in Africa, it is the man who paid the bride price. Okay, so I'm looking at shared roles and responsibilities at home. Once the man is the head, one of the expectations is that he should be able to provide for his family. Okay, even in where I come from, back in Africa, in Ghana, they said that there's a popular balance that Obanya dia or the coffee or the konebusia for, but Oboka dia or the coffee. So to wait that when a woman comes to the marriage and whatever she earns is for her and her family, but if she goes out there and get into trouble or whatever, or incur any debt or whatever, it is the man. So we place so much financial responsibilities on the man. So what if the woman earns more than the man? What if the man, because I'm just looking at men being leaders by default. So I'm just looking at it like, what if the woman is more capable of being a leader? The woman has actually exhibited leadership qualities. You know, what if the woman like man providing financially for the family. What if the woman earns more? I think whoever earns more should pay more. Whoever is more capable should lead, because there are some men. I mean, we all know the Oprah Winfrey's, we all know about the Yas Antoine, the Michelle Obamas. There are women, the Margaret Thatcher's. There are women who are strong and abled. So what if the man that hasn't really, is so reserved, so laid back? He doesn't have what it takes to be a woman, to be a leader, and the woman is more capable, so that's my, I think things are changing. I mean, now women are working, women are not just home giving birth and cooking and cleaning. Women are now working 8 hours. Women are, some have 2-3 jobs, so I'm just, shouldn't we, the only thing that remains constant is change, shouldn't we adapt this leadership?
Well, I mean, I was reading up on a gentleman trying to find answers to this particular question, and one of the points which is being raised is about this idea of man being a de facto leader of the home. How do we maintain that? Okay, because if we don't have, if you're unable to have a concrete set of definition or set of guidance which to preserve that role, then you're right. Time is coming, society is changing, 21st century, things have changed so much that the qualities that probably you see in a man, which makes him or assumes the role of the leader in the home, is seen elsewhere, is seen in women as well. But does that mean the woman takes over that role and leave that of the man? It is really important that we keep it in context, because again, majority or many people within the world today rely on religious
And culture
source for their living. So say in the Christian sector this is not going to be accepted that a woman takes over, because they look at that.
We're not talking about just Christians or Muslims.
I'm saying we need to look at within context. So society today, women are crying for equal pay, equal position, equal leadership, equal this, equal that. That is next. If you take it back to the roots where majority or many of us stem from, is that going to change? Is that going to be possible? You need to be a deviant within the religious and the cultural sector to move, to shift that goalpost. Why do I say so? I say so because even if the woman has all it takes,
she
has all the quality, earns all, earns more than,
she's
more.
proven.
Yeah, of course, the woman who has that vibrant value to assume that role is submissive because of the understanding from her own cultural and religious perspective, to say, even though I am the woman who earns more and my husband possibly don't earn anything, supposedly even he is a drunkard, supposedly he doesn't do anything, he sits at home and all he does is that I am the head. The woman is saying, I accept it because it is an ordained, this is not by choice, this is not by any man's decision, God has made it so I will be submissive to the man. But if you come into the political sets where, or the socioeconomic set, which does not take religion and culture into account, there the home condition is changed. And we see it changing in a number of homes, because there are homes where there are no men.
That's true.
Because a home where there's a man and he doesn't do nothing, he's
you can't be a leader, because leadership comes with the responsibilities.
Exactly. No one is going to even the children are not going to see you as
Exactly.
as the head.
Yeah.
But in a home where culture and religion is strong, and they still hold on to those values, irrespective of what the woman has,
Okay.
that is not going to change. So it is a balanced. It needs to be a balanced view. The home of religious and culturally formated view or position will hold on to what is believed. A home where religion and culture does not play major role.
Can I come in?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry to interject, but that is the problem we are having, because most cultures, most religions, frankly,
Yeah.
perceives the woman as subservient. Because as you're saying, there are so many. I'm just looking at a culture that will, because it's as Bob Marley said, we have to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery, because it is so ingrained in us that there are gender roles, there are traditional roles bestowed on women, that even if a woman will go and work 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever, she will still come home and see it as her responsibility or her duty. Yeah. It can be out of love, it can be out of submissiveness, it can be out of whatever explanation, but she will still see it as her duty to do basic household chores. Nobody's forcing her to do it. She loves to do it.
Yeah.
But what culture is that makes a woman think it's compulsory, her duty, to do these things, even though they can be shared equally? As I'm saying, it should be based on capability. Whoever is capable of doing it. If the man is a good cook, let him cook. I'm not even talking about cooking or cleaning or washing or those things. I'm talking about providing money. I'm talking about the culture and religion. I mean, I don't know.
I think we don't have to mix responsibilities with the leadership situation. Okay, when it comes to sharing of responsibilities within the home, it is the family to make that decision.
Exactly.
Of course, I cook.
Yeah.
I don't sit down and say I'm the head of the family, so my wife should come and cook every day. So it depends on how you are running your home. Exactly. And what you see yourself.
Exactly.
So that is quite a different thing. Of course, some families, men or women, may have taken advantage or misinterpreted the role of the man.
Yeah.
To mean something
to lord over their wives.
Exactly. So you are the head. You are the head of the family. So the woman can work, but she's still sitting down. She's got a higher qualification than the man. You should go and work and bring the money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nobody. No.
Exactly.
That is. It needs to be. That's what I said. It needs to be understood within context.
Okay.
And what informs your understanding of the man being the head, or the woman changing from a man to a woman in the family. Okay. So you can be the prime minister, or you can be the president, but it does not necessarily mean you have to go to every meeting.
That's true.
It does not mean you should, if your ambassador turns to a meeting, it is your representation, or they represent you. So it's the kind of understanding that you create. You need to create that harmony within the home environment, so that you don't cross paths. This argument about he's the head, I'm the neck, so I can tell you what to do and all that. That is not what we are looking for. Of course, it is true that we see this situation within our society today, because the expectation, what men, and I generalize it, because that's what is happening, are supposed to do, probably are not doing, taking care of the woman, or helping out, supporting and looking, ending up looking down upon the woman. The woman is tired, the baby is crying, they are not supporting. So it is your role, it is your no.
Yeah.
Again, let me draw your attention to the biblical perspective, because that is generally So it says that a woman was created as a man's helper. Now, if you are my helper, of course I'm the leader, isn't it? And you are my helper. A helper comes to help me do what I'm doing. A helper does not take over.
But that is relative. I can also define a helper as someone who is also higher than you, because I'm not in the position to help you.
Whichever way, it says you are my helper. So primarily, I am doing my work. and you come in to help me.
Okay.
Okay, so when you come in to help me, it doesn't, I don't need to overburden you. I don't need to leave the whole work for you to do. But today, the person who comes to help has been left to do everything.
Exactly.
So, okay, well, you came to help me. I sit down, I fold my arms and you say, clean there, wash that, do that. Do you not think the helper, if that is the case, is going to be fed up?
No, but definitely, I understand if the woman
Yeah.
is not working at all. Let's say she's a housewife, because household chores are work. It's a work on itself, you know. So it's a full-time job on itself. So if she's not working, fine. If the man, I mean, if the man cannot go and work 12 hours, whatever, and come home and you expect the man to come and do general house duties. So I get it. But you mentioned earlier on also as there are, depend on the culture or religion where the person is coming from or whatever is informing their background. The woman can be the most richest woman on earth, but she'll still be submissive and humble and whatever in the home, whatever works for them, if that is what is working for them. So where, that's the problem I'm having. So where submission means what? Where humility means what? Should the woman go through pain to prove their love to the man, to show that they are humble? When she's even tired and she want to relax, she still have to go ahead and serve her husband or do the mirror, to, yes sir, or whatever to imply that. Is that what submission means?
No, I don't. No, that is not what. That's not what it means. Okay, let me point of correction. Helping doesn't necessarily means house chores or cleaning and cooking. Helping can also be you are working and you contribute financially. Okay, so again, it is for you as a family to define what the roles are.
Exactly.
Okay, so I am the head. I am not earning money. I'm not employed. Probably I'm not educated as yourself. So you are my helper in the sense that you work. You go and bring in the money, and then I keep the home. I look after the children at home. So that is the help you are providing. It needs to be understood in context. I think where we have mixed the definition and the roles. This is where we have disparities.
We have the disparities and the
exactly. And so we need to get back to basics and say, okay, if man is the head, what does it mean? What is he supposed to do? What is expected of him? What is the woman? If the woman is the subordinate, what does that mean? And you're talking about humility. Even with humility, there is love. Man is to love the woman. Doesn't mean the woman doesn't need to humbleness. What does that mean? So we need to be able to separate that away from power and control. Being the head does not mean you are the Lord over. Lording here means exerting power and controlling everybody. No, it means you are in authority, you are responsible, you are answerable, you lead, you direct, and you make sure that everybody is doing well.
Okay. Opadia, sorry, we just gonna conclude our discussion for today. Is there something else, your last word, something else you wanna add?
Well, I think this is a really broad, it's a big subject, and we're trying to give our audience as much as we can. And knowledge is not just sitting with us. It doesn't mean whatever we are saying is the final, conclusive. And I believe people can formulate their own view and come up with the best solution. I think all that we want to arrive at is that if man is said to be the head of the home, what is the expectation of them? How should they behave? How should they present? Do they give women the opportunity? And should women accept that? Should we all accept that? Again, it should be related to your background, your knowledge, your understanding, and what informs that decision. So it's nothing prescribed. We cannot sit here and prescribe that it should be right or it should be wrong. So your learning or your decision should be informed by where you come from.
Your learning, your decision should be informed by where you come from.
That's the background.
Thank you, massive thank you to Openyasari for sharing your knowledge, rich, vast knowledge. What that's, as you said, is relative. And as Openyasari said, there is no template for a successful marriage. There is no a one-size-fits-all formula for marriage or
Family,
yeah. You know, what works in marriage A may not work in marriage B. What works in your home may destroy somebody else's home. So as Openyasari said, it's context driven. You know, leadership comes with responsibility. So whether men are the head, whether women are the tail, where there is love and understanding, all these are trivialities. And empathy should rule. As the golden rule said, you love your neighbor as yourself. If you it doesn't matter who is earning more. When it comes to relationship, whoever earns more must pay more, whether it's the man or woman. You know, that is why most men are dying before their wives. They are almost great. You know, the financial responsibilities on the men are too much. You know, where the man has to provide. So it doesn't even matter whether the woman is earning more. She keeps her money to herself and the man is providing. So yes, of course, if they provide, then why can't they be the head? You know, so let's help them. You know, and let's understand each other. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful thing. So find out whatever works in your home. Just communicate. And have a happy marriage. Join us, drop your comments. We are on social media platforms. If you have any opinions or views or whatever, just drop it at Real Chat TV. So thank you so much for joining us again. We had time with Openyasari on Real Chat TV. Bye.